away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong.
From the Martin constituency, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Wade Moore.
Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Let us warmly welcome our next Prime Minister, Honorable Kamla Prasad. My colleagues at the head table, parliamentary colleagues, friends, my brothers and sisters all of the Diego Martin community and its environs. This evening, I would like to address you on the subject, the haves and the have-nots, the tale of the haves and the have-nots. It is about the economic elite versus you and me and the vast majority. It is about the PNM breast.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. Turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Oh, you're doing me wrong so wrong.
Live from the Diego Martin constituency, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Wade Moore.
So strong.
Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Let us warmly welcome our next Prime Minister, Honorable Kamla Prasad. My colleagues at the head table, parliamentary colleagues, friends, my brothers and sisters all of the Diego Martin community and its environs. This evening, I would like to address you on the subject, the haves and the have-nots, the tale of the haves and the have-nots. It is about the economic elite versus you and me and the vast majority. It is about the PNM, brothers and sisters, friends, family, financiers, forests, and the young and restless. My brothers and sisters, it's about the brutality and oppression of the many and the promotion of the interest by the PNM of the few. My brothers and sisters, this is where the bulk of our wealth and our income is being accumulated and allocated under this PNM government. We have been repeatedly told since this incompetent regime, this useless and wicked government arrived on the stage, that the country has no money, the treasury is empty, we're running on fumes. You remember that? The question is, no money for whom? It's no money for you. It's no money for the ordinary people. It's no money for the workers and the farmers. But brothers and sisters, for the friends, their family, their financiers, Faris, and the young and restless, they're living nice. Whilst we, brothers and sisters, languish and swirl in a sea of poverty and deprivation, you have these people living it nice and easy. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, about a company. I want you to pay attention carefully about a loss-making company whose chief executive officer is a fellow by the name of Angus Young, the brother of Stuart Young, the sons of Richard Young. I want you to understand, brothers and sisters, that this was a loss-making company, dead, but resurrected under Rowley and Stuart Young and PNM, brothers and sisters. Let me give you some examples so you will understand the asset base of this company. This company is known as NCB Global Finance. I want you to remember that name. Its CEO is a fellow called Angus Young. They started with a meager asset base of $132 million in 2015. You know, in 2 years, in less than 2 years, by the end of 2017, their asset grew from 132 million to 351 million. And you know what is even more alarming? The owners of that business did not put a red cent into the company. I will tell you where the money came from. My brothers and sisters, this company called NCB Global Finance, they increased what is called their customer deposit base from what? $83 million in 2015 to the unbelievable number of $268 million in 3 years, brothers and sisters. I want you to keep in mind, they put a cent into this company. Where did the money come from? My brothers and sisters, we have the evidence here, which we will share with you tonight. You know where the money come from? It came from you. It came from me. It came from the ordinary people of Trinidad and Tobago. So here what they did. They went to a company owned by Trinidad and Tobago people, the citizens. It's called the Home Mortgage Bank. They took from that bank, sell 33 million shares from that bank by, who arranged it? NCB Global Finance. You know how much they get? They get $46.9 million. You know where that $46.9 million is today? In NCB Global Finance. So they take our money, they sell our shares, they take our money and they put it into the account of NCB Global Finance. Who owns it? a fella called he's the CEO, Angus Young. Who's the brother? The minister of everything, master of nothing, Stuart Young. As if that wasn't enough, they went to the National Flour Mills, owned by the people, 51%. They actually loaned the NFM $10 million US. But you know, in return, the NFM had $75 million deposited at this company called NFM. So in return for my $75 million, they lent me 10 million US. But for my 10 million US that I borrowed, they charged me 5.75%. But for my 75 million, they charged me 2.5 in interest on that. That is how they end up making the money, brothers and sisters. That wasn't enough. They went to where? Something called the National Insurance Board. That is where poor people put their money, and employers. They borrowed what? $35 million from the National Insurance Board. Put it on the Guardian Life Holding on a fixed deposit. And that money was then deposited at NCB Global Finance, brothers and sisters. So they are taking money from us and making themselves rich and powerful, then taking our money and they just buy over a company called Guardian Holding Limited. You would have seen that in the papers. They went to another company called Trinidad Nitrogen Company Limited. And brothers and sisters, they engaged in a transaction amounting to over $100 million over a 4-year period. So what is happening, brothers and sisters? I want to tell you, to crown it off, to top it off, the Prime Minister, the raging bull, you know what they did? Udicot was under the control of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. You know what Rowley did? Rowley removed Udicot from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development on the 14th of November. And brothers and sisters, on the 15th of November, 1 day later, he was able, that is NCB, was able to sign off with Udicot a loan for $180 million in less than 24 hours. Dr. Rowley has questions to answer. Imbot has questions to answer. Jojo has questions to answer. My brothers and sisters, whilst poor people are being retrenched at Petrotrin, poor people are being sent home at TSTT, everyday workers are being dismissed and fired all over the country. But you know what? PNM friends, family, financiers, Faris and Young having a good time at our expense. Brothers and sisters, the time has come for us to use this index finger and vote out the PNM. My brothers and sisters, it doesn't end there. That isn't all. You have, brothers and sisters, you have a fellow called Faris Alwari. The man rent us a building at number 3 Alexandra Place, brothers and sisters, for $600,000 a month. You know what? He said, listen, I don't want to be in the room with Rowley when we taking that decision, so I am going to recuse myself. So Faris Alwari opened the door, closed it, and Rowley and them take a decision. But Rowley just lies so much. He said that he ensured that Faris recused himself when that decision was being taken to rent 3 Alexandra Place for $600,000 a month. You know where Rowley was? He was in a place called Uruguay. So Rowley is a magic man. He in the cabinet telling Arabi, recuse yourself, but at the same time attending a conference in a place called Uruguay. You see lie, you hear lie. So my brothers and sisters, Faris Alwari and his wife and his family, after 3 years, gone smiling all the way to the bank with $23 million of our money because he rented us a building for $600,000 a month. And Rowley, the paragon of fortune, this man say he anti-corruption. He said, that's okay, Faris, it's no problem. I want to tell you tonight in Diego Martin what corruption means. Corruption simply means using your public office for private gain. And that is what Faris Alwari and the MNF are doing. It doesn't end there, brothers and sisters. The Faris clan, they're renting a building, brothers and sisters, at the corner of Agra and Patna Street, St. James, to accommodate special branch and intelligence unit of the police service at what? At a price, brothers and sisters, of $53,000 a month. Them fellas renting building all over the country. It does not end there. They renting to the government of Trinidad and Tobago accommodation for the Ministry of Social Development at 45A, 45C, St. Vincent Street at a cost, brothers and sisters, of $159,000 a month. It's millions and millions of dollars they are reaping at the expense of the ordinary poor, vulnerable, oppressed, and downtrodden masses in Trinidad and Tobago. I ask you tonight, how much more can we take with the MNF? A government of thieves. They call it, there's a big word for them, kleptocratic. Kleptocratic means a government run by thieves. That is what the PNM is. I want to say a couple things before I close, but I can't go into details. I want to tell you something. There's a racket going on involving Neelan Mercy and Samakal, Southern Sales, in a lease rental racket involving WASA, TSTT, NGC, Trinidad and Tobago Postal Services. Brothers and sisters, they are raping the treasury with this criminal racket that they're carrying on with. And I want to tell you something. This man called Keith Rowley, the Wajang expert, you know, this man told us he's going to buy 2 58 meters Cape class patrol vessels for the Coast Guard. Young and restless, the Minister of Everything said it will cost us $35 million US each $70 US for both. You know what? When the fella had his presentation, mind your business, he said it costing $600 million for the same two vessels that Stuart Young told us in August will cost us $475 million. You know what I want to tell you here tonight? We have the documents. No contract has been signed with Ostal. They gave to Ostal $40 million as advance payment, and they haven't signed any contract. You know what we discovered? The Australian National Bank chartered and purchased and chartered two of those same Cape class vessels for the Australian Navy. You know, in TT dollars, how much they pay for it? $300 million. Rowley told this country those same identical vessels are costing us $600 million. I want to ask Rowley tonight. I want to ask Stuart Young tonight. I want to ask Imber tonight. And that useless, wicked bunch of incompetents. I want to ask them, where is the extra $300 million going? My brothers and sisters, I want to close. I have many more things to say, but I can't because the honorable leader is here. I want to tell you, let us together gather at the table of brotherhood to bring down the walls of injustice, inequality, unequal opportunity, rampant poverty, and daily hardships facing our people. Let us together get our country working again by generating and building under the rising sun prosperity, fairness, justice, equality of opportunity for every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago. We did it in the past. We did it under our distinguished leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. We brought 55,000 jobs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will do it again. The rising sun is our only hope for salvation, for liberation, for emancipation. The UNC is the only vehicle to take our country to genuine freedom. And our leader, Kamala Prasad-Bisesa, is the only genuine political leader to ensure your safety, your security, your prosperity, your equality, and equal opportunity for all of the people. Let us unite as one family, one community, one country to confront this wicked, evil, incompetent, worthless, and useless, oppressive PNM government. Long live the UNC. Long live Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. Long live Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress.